Hi. Before I leave for Warp Tour, I kind of want to just make one more video, and Rob is especially busy, so I don't want to bother him. So what has basically been coming to my mind a lot is the empath in relationships, because that is almost like the biggest battle that empaths face. And in my previous video, I had made empaths in relationships, but this is kind of more touching what I've learned. So I hope that you can apply it to your everyday issues that you may face within relationships as an empath. Um, what I've said is the empath is somebody that feels, senses, emotions 10 times deeper, 10 times stronger than your average person. So most of the time we're freaking out about something that may not even be something to freak out about. But the way I explain it is a flick in the arm to somebody else is like a bat to the face to me. I I feel things on such a profound, deep level that it's an empath literally feels a change or shift in somebody's energy. Like your partner could be having a bad day, and an empath will feel that and automatically assume that it's theirs and they did something wrong. So they start freaking out and think, they create a fight out of nothing because they're not understanding that somebody may have just had a bad day and be carrying that energy, and the empath is sensing that discord with them or that disconnect, and then it makes them feel insane. Um, so kind of what I wanted to talk about today was what I've learned in being an empath with relationships. And basically, what to take out of the ones that don't work out, because it's hard. It's hard. And a lot of the times the empath they'll blame themselves. They think that they did something wrong, or they think that they're not good enough. Um, so I want to kind of start from the beginning. So when I was younger, I was a wild empath. I had no idea what was wrong with me. I had no idea why I felt the way that I did, why I was always in such a need to kind of rush into things, which is an empath's way, not because they want control, not because of anything like that, but because empaths just feel stuff on such a deeper level than most people. So, where it takes someone else a month to kind of realize if they really like somebody, an empath will just know because they feel it. Um, I kind of just want to talk about what hurt, because empaths do not have an easy time in relationships, and it doesn't always work out the way that we think it's gonna, and it leaves that scar. And what I want to kind of do is talk about where you could reverse that damage, just in a mental, like, alchemic state. Um, so when I was younger, I'm gonna go back to I don't even want to go to like 18, but maybe more like 21, 22. I was dating somebody that didn't really treat me the way I was supposed to be treated. Barely spoke to me. It was almost like if I talked to him, I would feel like I was bothering him. And, that's a really sucky feeling. And I was not somebody that ever would have stuck up for myself, because I was such an empath and I just didn't know how to tell someone how I felt. And that is the curse of the empath. The empath will never really tell someone how they feel, because they just bottle it inside, um, until they explode internally or they have a freak out and it's made much more worse. So I never used to tell this person, like, oh, you're doing this and it's hurting my feelings, you're doing this and it's really making me upset. I would just hold it in, and I did not want this person to leave me. This person treated me awful and would constantly tell me that I sucked and this, that, third. And I was somebody that I stuck with it. And it got to a point where they wanted to break up with me, and I begged him not to leave me. I was like, please don't break up with me. Please don't break up with me. Like, freaking out. Like, please don't leave me. This person treated me like garbage. Like, this man treated me like a fucking slave. Like, he was not good to me in any sense of the word. So eventually, it reached a peak, and we did break up. This was probably about like 5 years ago. But what that had taught me was I sat in a relationship for God knows how long, being treated so poorly, so unfairly every day. I was upset every day. I was sad, and I was a beautiful person in my heart, but I didn't believe it yet. That relationship made me know that I was a beautiful person because I did everything I could to make this person happy, and they just did not want to be happy. You reach a point in relationships as an empath where you're always blaming yourself. You never think that it's the other person, or you never really want to believe that it's the other person that could be at fault. So you're always going to be blaming yourself, and no one really has an issue with letting you blame yourself. After that relationship, I'd kind of started diving into the whole self-love thing. I didn't really know how to love myself because I didn't really know myself. Um, but I was trying, and then, relationships after that, it was kind of the same thing. People not treating me the way that I felt that I should be treated internally. After one day, I kind of just broke it. And I was just like, you know what? I know my worth, and I know that I'm a really beautiful person, and I may not be the most beautiful, I may not be the most talented, I may not be the most funny, but I know that deep down I'm a beautiful person, and I have earned. I don't feel anyone deserves anything. Deserve is entitlement. I don't believe in entitlement, but I do believe in earning. And I felt that I had earned someone to treat me better. So over the years, it's been, I think being tested. Every relationship that I've been in since, that one, even my sociopathic ex, you have to recognize your own worth, and you need to really realize that there is nothing wrong with you as an empath, and your soul is beautiful, and you're a good person, and 9 times out of 10 you'll be called overly emotional, oversensitive, crazy, dramatic, and that's just not true because they just don't understand stuff the way that you do, and process it the way that you do. So I think rule number one is you need to find someone that's going to want to listen to you. And I've encountered a lot of relationships where they pretend, and they pretend that they care about what I'm talking about. Hold on, I need to find this song again. They pretend that they care about what I'm talking about. They pretend, oh, it's okay that you feel this sensitive. It's okay that you feel that way. I'll help you through this. Like, I'll talk to you. And then it's just, they just want to, it's a form of control. It's a form of manipulation. And I think the easiest to be manipulated and to be controlled is an empath because we want to so badly believe in somebody. Um, I think what all my failed relationships and all the failed situations I've had with people has taught me is you need to find your voice. And I think with every heartbreak, with every bad situation that happens to you, oh God, there's a car. My neighbors are going to think I'm fucking nuts. um, I think with every failed relationship, I think with every failed love, with every failed anything, it just gives you a new appreciation for yourself. And eventually you get to the point where you can easily walk away. You're not going to be the empath that sits there and fights and is like, please don't leave me. You recognize when you're not being treated the way that you should be, and you don't want that anymore. You find that love for yourself where it's like, you know what, this may hurt, and this may really, affect me and make my heart hurt, but I know I've earned more than that. Like, I deserve more than that. And that's where I call it, after I've probably had 700 failed relationships, which, I'm not proud of, but, everything is a journey in your soul's evolution. I call it the fuck it mode. And what the fuck it mode is as an empath, you are very reluctant to tell someone how you feel. You're not always going to tell someone, oh, I like you, I have feelings for you. You're not going to be honest. Because for years or for X amount of time, you've been being told you're too sensitive about everything and you feel too much about everything and you're too dramatic and you start fights about this and da 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 da. So you build up a wall where you're scared to tell somebody how you actually feel because you think you're going to scare them off. But if you think you're going to scare somebody off by being your authentic self, you should not be with that person. This is a lesson. This is showing you that you're still not ready. And when that person comes along and wants to listen to you and can relate to you and understand you, that is where you let your empathic heart shine on that person. That is where you take these lessons and you tell them exactly how you feel. Well, in fuck it mode. I'm very much in fuck it mode right now. And You know, if you like somebody, you like someone. You don't hold back. You let yourself shine to that person, because it could be a lot of times fear. You know, we're so conditioned to fear. We always think that what's happened before is going to happen again. We get triggers, we go into fear mode, so we guard ourselves and we hide ourselves. And then you have two people that are so scared of getting hurt that they destroy something that could be beautiful. And you know, it blows my mind, and I do so many readings on people that I'm like, you know, you have to tell this person how you feel, because not only do you have to tell someone how you feel, but that's going to mess up your throat chakra. And you know, you don't want to suppress your innermost feelings, because when you suppress your feelings and you work to make someone else happy all the time, you're alerting the universe that you don't put yourself first. And when you don't put yourself first, you're attracting things that are not going to put you first. Basically, I mean, the way that I speak is, you know, it's very different. I feel like in this all this new age, old school spiritual stuff, a lot of people speak in terms that are that I can't even really understand. It's words that I'm just like, you lost me, and I think that that's the hardest part about people gaining a spiritual understanding of things. So that's why, you know, I'm approaching my 27th year of life, and you know, fuck it mode. So, um, in fuck it mode, I've just said, fuck it. You know, what's the worst that could happen? I've had my heart broke. I've been verbally abused, mentally abused. You know, I've had people leave me with no explanation. I've had people tell me, you know, you're perfect, but I just can't be with you, which in putting myself first, I'm now realizing that when somebody says that to me, I know that what they really mean is, you're too much light. You're too bright. You're too much for me to handle, and I'm still a child. So, you know, you gotta bounce back from these relationships, and every bad or failed relationship, it's never in vain. It's always to make you love yourself more, because when you know you've done nothing wrong, and you have done nothing but try and be a loving light for somebody, they just can't handle it, which has nothing to do with you. That's with them. And you know, you never know what happens down the line, but you need to put yourself out there, and you need to not think that everybody's going to hurt you. And you know what? If you get hurt 100 times, guess what? 101 could be the one, because you put yourself first. It's taken me years to kind of bounce out of things that haven't been healthy for me, or people that I know aren't good for me. Because what we do as empaths is we believe in infinite possibility. So we believe that we see the future with somebody, but somebody we've created in our head. You see that, oh, down the line, if they just realize this about me. No, if somebody doesn't realize something about you from the get-go, and they don't appreciate your sensitivity, your kindness, your beautiful heart, which is so rare this day and age, because everybody hides. No one wants to be the one to put themselves out there, and to be the one that's, you know, the light source of love. And you know, if somebody can't handle that about you, then they're not ready, and they still have an entire journey to undergo. And a lot with an empath is timing, you know? Just because you're found doesn't mean that somebody else is. And you can't take it personally, because taking something personally means you're blaming you, and it has nothing to do with you. We're all a mirror image of one another. So if somebody is not ready for something you have to offer, you can't hate them, you can't be mad at them. You have to let that almost be a beautiful reminder that you're on your best path to feeling whole. You're on your best path to being the best person you can, and that person may be stuck, and you know, maybe you're meant to be in that person's life to kind of push them along. But the sensitivity of an empath in relationships is, you know, I think one of the most beautiful, genuine things I have. And you know, I may fail 100 times, you know, but I'll always get back up, and I'll always put myself out there, and I'll always let my sensitivity show someone it's okay to feel the same way. Because, you know, maybe in not being your most authentic self, you're hiding, so that person's hiding because they're scared of you as well. You know what I mean? It's it's hard, and I think it's hard that, you know, we have to go through so much heartbreak and so much disappointment in order to find our true selves and find our true voice. But that's the mission. That's why it happens the way that it does. It's like me at 21 begging somebody not to leave me, even though they barely cared that I was like breathing. Like, are you crazy? I think about that and I'm like, oh my God. Like, and now it's like I see one thing that, I know is not helping my soul's evolution, or I can't be honest with them, or if I feel like I can't be honest with that person, then I can't do it. And I basically gracefully bow out of it because I just know that it's not meant for me. And, another thing with empaths in relationships is if you feel like something's off, there's something off. Do not let someone tell you that there is nothing wrong. Do not let someone make you feel crazy, because as an empath, you have such a gut knowing that even if your mind is messing with you, your body is not. If you feel something off and you feel so strongly about it, I promise you it's true. 9 times out of 10, I'll tell someone, I have a feeling this is happening. I have a feeling this is happening. And, I'll talk to my friends or whatever about it, and they'll be like, no, no, no. I'm always right. My gut is always right. It has never failed. So don't let somebody manipulate you and tell you, if you say to them like, oh, I feel something's off with us, or I feel something's off with you, and they're like, no, you're crazy, and then that's emotionally abusing yourself. You have to trust your gut, and you need to trust the empath soul that you have, because empaths, we take on everyone else's stuff. Like us in a relationship, we're not only feeling our own feelings, we're feeling their feelings on top of it. So we're feeling amplified by God knows what. And you know what? It takes a brave soul to be with somebody like this. And, we've earned the right to be with a brave soul, to be with someone like us, because look at how brave we've had to be in unleashing what we think is a curse. Because most empaths, it's the gift and the curse. And not many people could understand it unless, they're in it. But I think that it's beautiful that in this lifetime we get to have this sensitivity, because so many people are desensitized and they don't feel the way that we do. And, never let your sensitivity be something that hinders you or makes you feel bad about yourself, because I promise you, my sensitivity is one of the most beautiful things that I have. And I think I would not be half the woman I am without it. And I feel I have something to offer this world, because I have a heart that I let that shine. And not in an egotistical way, but anyone that generally ever meets me, one, they say, you're really short. But two, they say, they're like, your heart actually, you feel it. Like, you could feel your love that just comes out of you. And, I think that that's how we all have to be, rather than look at everything as a disappointment or fall into the victim mentality state. Like, oh, why didn't he want to be with me? Or why did she not like me? Why didn't this work out? Oh, this always happens to me. Just look deeper into it and figure out why. Why are you always attracting the person that has commitment issues? Why are you always attracting the person that can't finish what they started? Why are you always attracting the person that starts off strong and finishes weak? You know what I mean? You got to look into yourself, because a lot of it does have to do with what you're signaling to the universe and what you feel within. And the number one step is self-love and loving yourself and owning your sensitivity. I own my sensitivity, and if someone doesn't like it, they don't like me. And if you can't handle my sensitivity, then I don't know what to tell you, because on top of that, you're not just, as an empath, you're not just like this ball of emotion all the time. Me personally, I have a great sense of humor. If I don't make it in whatever I do, stand up comedy, um, I like to, go out, have fun. Um, Being an empath doesn't define you, but it does create the definition you give yourself. And every day you should wake up and you should love yourself a little more. If you're in a relationship and you're not getting what you need, you're never going to get what you need. That person is never going to change. You're never going to change them, no matter how much love you give them. It's time for you to love you and to step back and say, you know what, this isn't healthy anymore. And I need to put myself first, and I need to feel love, and I need to be loved. One thing I've learned, especially as like a psychic and a medium and a healer, and I'm kind of going into life coaching, but like psychically, we will never not find love. And I've heard that 100 times in my head from my guides, from my intuition. I think this is one of the most profound things I've ever like heard in my head. When you are on this earth with the premise of love, which is what an empath is, we come here on the premise of love. And when you live in the premise of love, love is what you'll find. So put out all the love you have to everybody, even if, there are some days they don't deserve it, or just give everyone love, and it has to start with you. You need to give you the most nurturing love you could find. Write down a list. Like, I may be weak here, but this is why it makes me strong. Like, I think all the time, I'm like, you were super sensitive, you overthought that, because I'm over analytical. But that's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you shine. That's what makes me be able to help people. That's what helps me protect myself. That's, what helps me be a beacon of light in, this new age. And I just hope for every empath that is so sensitive or energy sensitive, I hope that you find that voice that you let out and you let yourself be you every day. I've been there. I know how lonely it feels. It's hard. You live a life where you try and explain to people constantly, like, I'm just that overly sensitive. Like, they can't understand why certain things are such a big deal to you. And it's like, that's why you need to know yourself and love yourself the most, and, be your most authentic self. And when you are the most authentic self you could be, that's when you will receive the most authentic other people. But you have to be your own best friend, and you have to love yourself, and really know yourself first before you could do any of that. Because empaths, we're crazy. We just, not crazy, but we love love. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. And too many empaths shut it down, or, can't handle it because they can't handle the way that they feel about it all. But, love is the most beautiful thing we have on this earth. And without love, we're basically dead. So, I hope this video helped. It was just kind of things rolling through my head. And, I wanted to film it outside because it's a beautiful day out. And, I got my coffee and, just it's a good day. Every day is a good day, even if it's not the best day, it's always a good day. I'm gonna be filming some stuff while on Warped Tour, basically about dealing with energy and all the people out there and the ways that I'm feeling and blah 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 blah. So just find that inner voice, find that inner light, let your love shine, and fuck it mode. Tell anyone how you feel, just say it. You'll be pleasantly surprised the way people react when you could own yourself and own where you stand and own your emotions and feelings, because too many people are used to people hiding them. When you step out and you own who you are and you say exactly how you feel, you're inspiring somebody else to do the exact same. So, have the best day.